Business doesn't have to be as hard as you're making it. It's all about mastering a few key techniques, systems, and mindset. Welcome to Well-Oiled Operations. With over 2 million downloads, it's the go-to podcast dedicated to helping you increase your profit margins while getting your time back. I'm your host, Stacy Tuschl. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and I own multiple seven-figure businesses. Whether you're a brick and mortar or an online business owner, it doesn't matter. I've got both, and I'll show you my framework to get you more customers in the door, more profit in your pocket, and more happiness in your home. It's time to get your business less reliant on you. Profitable outsourcing. I love it. Profitable outsourcing comes down to 5 things. And here's where I think a lot of business owners go wrong. They just think, okay, we need to hire. Let's put out a job posting. And that to me is where it starts going wrong. Okay. So step number 1 is making the math work. What position makes sense? And who should I hire that is going to give me a quick return on investment? You need to know and understand your numbers, okay? Now, when I say revenue generators for team members, I'm talking about people that are making more than you are paying them, okay? 2xing their salary, 3xing, 4xing. That is not uncommon with the people we hire. So the question becomes, are you making enough to hire, or what do you need to do first before you're ready? So you have a lot of options here. Are you going to hire contractors, employees, full-time, part-time, maybe a virtual assistant, maybe a Filipino virtual assistant, somebody overseas, okay? I'm going to share how to hire revenue generators. I'm not opposed to any one of those things I just said, okay? The only thing I am opposed to is you hiring somebody and not making your money back. Okay, so with that said, the goal is to pick the right hire who produces. All right. I'm going to show you what is very typical in the small business world. Okay. Now, before I start talking money, I want to really drill this in today. Is hiring expensive? I think a lot of people perceive it to be expensive. And I'm telling you that if you say, yes, it is expensive, it is simply because you haven't learned this skill yet, okay? This is a skill set that I believe will make you so much money. It is the difference between a 6-figure and 7-figure business, 7 and multiple 7 and beyond, okay? So even if I said to you, is a $100,000 employee expensive? It depends. Are they making you $120,000? Or are they making you $75,000? If they're making you $75,000, you're right, they're expensive and you need to let that person go. If a $100,000 salary is making you $200,000, she is a bargain. He is a steal. Hire like 17 of those people. Okay, now here's why I think a lot of you believe it is an expensive thing, okay, is what happens is you decide, I am going to hire a part-time social media manager for $1,500 a month. So you start paying $1,500, and they do not make you $1,500. In fact, some people are paying this kind of money and you are making no money on social media. Okay. If this is hitting home, say yes. So what happens is you're like, oh my goodness, I just spent $6,000 and I have yet to see or feel a difference. Okay. So a year from now, you're talking $18,000 later. And that's only if you fire this person at the 1-year mark. Most of you are not firing them because you're like, well, they're good. They have really pretty graphics and they're doing a great job and they do everything I ask them to do, except for the one thing they're supposed to do in business. And that is generate revenue. Okay. Yesterday I asked you, what are you no longer going to tolerate? I hope it is people that you are paying, like you are no longer tolerating people to make less than you pay them. Okay. So here's where it gets really scary is you think it's normal to pay somebody to do work, but not produce. Okay. So month 2, you're like, well, that was nice. She's taking social media off my plate. I really could use more time. So now I'm going to hire like a part-time assistant who's going to check my email and check my calendar and do all of those things. And she's $1,000 a month, right? So month 2, you start paying $1,000, but you're not getting, email and calendar. It's not producing you any revenue. So pretty soon, month 4, after 2 hires, you're out $9,000. How many of you have experienced this or are experiencing this, right? Your brain is saying, why would I hire? I am just getting more and more and more in the hole, right? So here is the deal. We have got to stop this madness of what is completely normal in small business, okay? This is no longer to be tolerated. So here's what I want you to understand is a possibility. So what we want to do is we want to invest in one person. And until we get them producing more than they're making, we do not hire the next person, okay? It is a skill set to get somebody producing revenue. It's a skill set. Some of you have not trained yourself with that skill set yet. You are about to, right? So instead of bringing on one person, then bringing on another, and you just start to bleed your cash flow, and then what happens is you're stressed, right? You're starting to get nervous. You're starting to get anxious. The money's not coming in. You just keep spending. The money's going out, right? So I want you to pause. Now, our goal is to teach you how to get them revenue generating within 30 to 90 days. Within 30 to 90 days, we want them profitable. Once they are profitable, we can hire our next person. When you only have to pay them for maybe month 1 or month 1, 2, and 3, it's no longer scary to think, oh my goodness, I'm bringing on somebody that's going to cost $30,000 or $50,000 for the year, right? You only have to be responsible for the first 30, 60, or 90 days, as long as you set clear expectations of what they need to do when they are onboarded. Okay. So what's amazing here is what happens is when you can start getting them good, like let's just stick with the first line, month 1, month 2. So maybe month 2, they get smart enough to help produce $2,000. So now you're actually profiting $500, right? Maybe month 3, they get a little stronger, right? So that's going to continue to happen. All of a sudden, outsourcing becomes profitable when you do it. Okay. Now here's the thing. As you grow, your biggest expense, one of them will be payroll. So what I want to talk about right now is this skill set is probably, besides like sales and marketing, this is one of the most like crucial skill sets that you will need to bring on in your small business, okay? This is a skill set you're going to need to acquire. The longer you delay, the opportunity cost will be so large. Do you know what opportunity cost is? Okay. Opportunity cost is when you think, well, I'll just save money by not hiring. But if you could hire a revenue generator who is going to double their salary, right? You have so much lost money. Yes, lost money from the lost opportunity. That's what it is. Some of you are trying to save money, but you're losing so much more than you realize. Okay. So what are the most profitable positions to hire? You need to be thinking about this, right? Now, this all depends on your business and the opportunities for growth. I'm going to give you 3 different positions as just a quick idea that maybe is going to spark something. Okay. So the first question, or the first thing I want to kind of put in your head is, we at Well-Oiled Operations only tell people you either hire somebody who directly makes the company money or indirectly makes the company money. Meaning, I bring on somebody and they're selling or they're marketing and their marketing efforts produces sales, right? Or they're calling up, maybe they're doing billing and they're calling up people with declined credit cards and they're literally collecting cash. Some of you are sitting on outstanding invoices and you could just hire somebody to come in and collect those outstanding invoices, right? These are people directly making you money. The next person could be somebody who indirectly impacts the business. And this is what I mean by indirectly. They are helping the company produce revenue, but they aren't the ones doing it. So usually an assistant can be somebody who indirectly impacts the revenue. They might be taking time off of your calendar for you to make more money in the business. Now, I had somebody in Well-Oiled say to me, Stacy, I hired and they're not revenue generating and I've done everything you've said. And I was like, fill me in because it's impossible. Like, tell me what you did. Okay. And the first question I said was, do they directly make the company money? And she said, no. I said, okay, how are they indirectly making the company money? And she said, they don't. I'm like, what are they doing? And she's like, well, they're just doing things that we haven't been doing that should be getting done. So we just started giving them that stuff. Like, okay, I share this story because it is so typical. You have an idea of what should be getting done. But guess what? You haven't been doing it. And it obviously isn't losing the company money, right? So don't hire somebody who can't impact the company in a positive way. Does that make sense? It's either directly or indirectly. There is no reason around why you would hire somebody else. Okay. They must directly or indirectly impact the business. So here's a couple options of who you could hire that could make the company money. Okay. So the first one could be reactivating past clients. Okay. Reactivating past clients. Ashley, I will come back to that question for sure. So first of all, I had a client that hired me to consult her. Okay. And at the time, I had no idea that she was a client or I was a client of hers for my studio. She sells dance apparel to dance studios. And she reached out to the studio a few years ago and the studio purchased some of her items and they sold it at the recital. And when she told me what they were, I remembered seeing like these sequin pillows. It was very different. So I remembered it. And I said, okay, I'm really embarrassed, but I don't remember ever seeing them again. Like I remember we sold them one year and then I don't remember we sold them again. And I said, was there like an issue? Like, did we not sell them? Like what happened? And she was like, well, I just never reached back out to you. Like I was waiting for you to reach back out to me, right? How many of you are busy? You are really, really busy and you have things on your to-do list you would love to do, but you just haven't done it, not because you don't want to, but because you're busy, right? So I said to her, listen, if you would have just emailed again for next year's recital, they would have just said yes to you. I know we sold them out, but because I'm sure my manager was busy, she didn't reach out. So some of you are not trying to go back to happy customers and asking them to buy again. Selling doesn't have to be pushy, right? Sometimes your clients are going to be like, oh my goodness, thank you. Totally forgot. I've been wanting to do this forever. Thank you for calling me. Okay. So here's what's crazy. She had already been serving over 400 studios that had purchased from her that year. She never reached back out to anybody unless they talked to her first. So for her, I was like, you need to immediately hire somebody to just literally sit in your emails and reactivate every person that you've ever had in the past. Like, don't even go after new people yet. You've got happy clients. Those are the easiest people to sell, right? So for me, I'm like, listen, you know how I said in the beginning, you've got to pay them like 30 days and then they'll already generate revenue. I said to her, how much do you think, like, what could we do here? So we did the math. The math was, she's like, I could hire somebody for $15 an hour. We're in Wisconsin where minimum wage is like $7.50. So just FYI, $15 an hour. And this was a few years ago before like everybody's paying like way more than that. But she's like, I could do this for $15 an hour, 10 hours a week. And she could just literally, I could craft the email, show her my list, and she could send like personal emails out. Okay. So that would be $600 a month. So I said to her, how fast do you think she could make you $600? And she said, I bet within the first week, she could already produce $600. So she is somebody with an opportunity, because think, when you pay somebody, you're not paying them before they start working. She's going to hire this person and in 2 weeks, pay them for their time. I'm like, you don't even need a budget. You get to go hire a revenue generator today. And she's going to produce more money than you can pay her. And guess what? When you run out of all of these people to message, these 400 people, now she can go after brand new people. Okay. So this is huge. The next thing, I believe like 99% of you in here need an executive assistant. Okay. I think every business owner could use an executive assistant. They basically become your right hand and they follow up for, anything you need. They free you up to do higher level tasks. So we talked about this, an EA, executive assistant, they are somebody who's going to most likely indirectly make you money. Now, they absolutely could directly make you money depending on what's going down in your email, okay? But a lot of you, just something like tedious like email is going to be massive, right? Now, I want to make sure you know a personal assistant is different than an executive assistant. A personal assistant might be grabbing your laundry, like doing your laundry, grabbing your dry cleaning, watering your plants, getting your groceries. Now, that could still indirectly make you money, because if you're doing all of that and now you just did work instead, you could make more money. But I believe an executive assistant is way better than a personal assistant, because I think there's more money to be made in your business. Okay. So with that said, an executive assistant, literally every day I wake up and I think, oh my goodness, I'm a little overwhelmed today. Anybody else think that? I have a lot to do today. And then I think, what could Christina help me with today? What could I literally take off of my plate? Maybe she could jumpstart that. Maybe she could get it going, right? What do I need her to do? So I will tell you this. My EA is checking my email about 3 times a day. I check it once a day. And when I go in at the end of the day, I have like 4 to 5 emails of things I need to accomplish. Okay. That takes me a couple minutes. So do you see how all day, if you're like in your email getting distracted, and I'm not, I'm going to make so much more money because I can be more productive. Does that make sense? Okay. So again, if you decide, oh, I'm going to bring on an EA, and then with that free time, I'm going to watch Netflix, you will not directly make the company money. And then you will wonder why you're losing money. If you say, wow, when she's checking my email for an hour, I'm going to work on marketing and sales, you will pay for that position so quickly. I want to go back. There was a question about, well, what about people that execute? Again, directly or indirectly making money. You can execute and not have any way that you are helping the company. That will never be somebody I tell you to hire. Okay. Number 3, a social media strategist. Now, I am not talking about somebody who posts on social once a day. I am talking about somebody who asks themselves, how can I sell more of our bestseller today? What can I do today to get people to actually move, take action, DM us, comment, engage, that gets them, our ideal client, wanting to learn more about our services? Okay. So last month, our social media strategist produced over $235,000 from organic Instagram. My social media manager does not cost me anything. Okay. I need you to hear this. I do not say, Bella, I need a post today. Bella, I don't even know how many times she's posting a day. Okay. I'm not looking for the actions. I am looking for the results. How many book calls are you getting? How many well-oiled lives are you getting registered? How many webinar registrations did you get? How many direct to book calls are you having, right? How many applications are coming through? Because she is actually looking for the end results, her actions are changing on a daily basis. So these are just ways for which you can start to make money when you hire, and you can make money quickly. Most of you are saying, okay, I need a post today. Oh, in fact, they just changed it. We've got to post twice a day. So could you get me 2 posts a day? But 2 posts a day does not equal dollars in your bank account. Some of you are giving not clear direction, or you're giving very clear direction. You're like, give me a post today, and they're giving it to you, but it's not actually what you want.